Kelsey, you're a manifestation coach. You teach the science of manifestation. Where are you manifesting this? I think that the actual way that you manifest is by fixing your frequency so much that your life is a revolving door of constant miracles and manifestations.
You get what you're a vibrational match for all of the time.
Hello and welcome back to the Alignment Academy podcast. If you're new here, my name is Kristen. I am a corporate dropout turned spiritual mentor. And on this podcast, we talk about all things healing, mindset, spirituality, manifestation, quantum physics, all the things. It's so fun. I love it. And I really love when I have really good conversations. So I am bringing back one of my friends, Kelsey, who is also known as the manifesting scientist, who basically teaches the science of manifestation. Everything that she teaches is completely science backed about laws of the universe, how the universe works, how the simulation works. And we had a conversation last season. It was one of my best performing ones, and you guys loved it. So I thought, let's bring her back again. So we did. It was such a good convo. We talked about the invisible string theory. We talked about how to trust the universe. We talked about the unknown. We talk about how to become a vibrational match, all the things that you guys are going to want to know about how to create a life that is just pure magic unflowing all the time. You're going to want to just tune into this one. I'm so excited. And if you've been enjoying the podcast, then I'm just going to lovingly ask to leave us a 5-star review, give me a comment. All the things help this podcast grow. I am currently funding this out of my own pockets, and I've been doing it for 2 years now. And we're just trying to make this as big and as accessible to everyone as possible so more people can heal, more people can grow. So thank you guys in advance for listening. I love you so much. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Kelsey, welcome back to Alignment Academy.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I was just telling Kelsey before we hopped on is like I feel like it's so exciting that we're connecting almost a year later. I don't really know the exact date of our last podcast because when I was listening back to our episode, I was going through a lot. I know I was at the tail end of my breakup. I know that you shared on that last episode that I don't know if you were going through your divorce, but it was definitely more recent than it is now. So, how are you since then?
I am doing amazing. I feel like that was such a transformative period of my life. I feel like looking back now, I'm like, wow, like I made it through the gauntlet, And it wasn't so terrible. Like I was always seeing the positive in it, but now that it's like a little farther away, I'm like, oh my God, if I can survive that, like I see life in like vibrant colors now. But yeah, ever since then, I've been doing a lot of traveling. We got officially divorced, like paper signed, and I booked a one-way flight to Bali, and I traveled around Asia for 3 months.
Wow.
And then my next goal was to travel around the US. And so I've been traveling around the US, and I'm here in Colorado now, in Boulder, Colorado, loving it.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh. Amazing. Are you coming to California?
I may come to California. Well, okay, so my goal, I guess we'll just jump right in. My goal for traveling around the US was to find the place I wanted to live, like for good. And I think I found it, like in Maryland. Like I moved there and all of these things aligned so perfectly, including like meeting another guy. And
No way. Oh my gosh.
I'm
I'm
like,
so happy for you. Do you know I used to live in Baltimore?
oh, really? I'm moving to Annapolis.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, Annapolis was really, really nice. But yeah, I used to be a Maryland girly, had a Maryland license and everything.
Oh my
So
God.
that's so
Amazing.
cute. How did you meet him? Wow, we are just getting into it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
Sometimes
like,
on my podcast, I feel like these are not recorded conversations, and then I'm like, I'm just fucking nosy.
yeah, that's why I'm like, I guess we'll just jump in.
Mhm.
So I'm in Asia and I knew I was coming back to the US. I knew I wanted to travel the US. I knew I did not know where I wanted to live because when I was getting divorced, I had lived in Connecticut for like 8 years or something like that in the Connecticut suburbs. And without my husband, like I had no reason to live there. I work remote, like why not travel, right? So I'm like, I don't know where I want to go. So I'm going to travel to find out where I want to live. But, I'm traveling through Asia. It's nearing the end of my trip. I had nowhere to go after. I had mapped out a bunch of places I wanted to target based on my astrocartography, but I got this like amazing opportunity. These people just reached out to me and they're like, "Do you want to live in our apartment in Annapolis and watch our cats? And you'll be there for 2 months." And I'm like, and so I didn't pay any rent. They're like, "You stay for free." And it's this like cute little apartment on this like perfect street. And I'm like, yes, of course I want to do that. So I go stay in this apartment. It's literally the most perfect location. Like the street, it's like near the downtown, like walkable from the downtown, but not quite in it. And there's like all these cute little shops. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm living the dream. And all these like other things aligned. And when my friends came to visit me, and we go to the downtown, we go out to the bars. So this is when I meet the guy. But I like everything had like aligned perfectly up to this point. And I had gotten divorced officially about 6 months earlier, but we had been separating for like over a year.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like single and I was
Single and
excited
ready
to
to.
be single. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, look, I love being single. I love traveling. I love like eating whatever I want, whenever I want. I love not having to like tell someone about everything I'm doing. There's benefits to being in a relationship, but like at the time I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, like single life, like live it up. And so we go to this bar. By the time we got to this one bar, me and my friend, we had had a bunch of drinks. So we're feeling good. We're running around the bar. We're having a good time. Like I hadn't been out like that in a very long time. I met a couple people there and including like this one guy and he was nice and stuff, but I love Taylor Swift and he like had the singer sing Taylor Swift for me. And so suddenly that guy went from fine to like amazing in my mind that night. And then he asked me on a date. We went on a date and on our first date, like he was really great and we just kept talking then and the energy's been so pure and so clean and he's like such a great mix of like he's so tough and so masculine but so like empathetic and understanding and always caring about my feelings and like putting me first and just like the best combo of everything. I don't know.
Wow. Oh my
And
God.
yeah, I did not like I was not like seeking a relationship at all, but like if the perfect person like lands in my face.
So this was going to be my next this is so beautiful that our last conversation was so much about rock bottom and now I feel like we're going to be going into like manifesting love and happiness and joy, which is so beautiful. But that was going to be my next question was Kelsey, you're a manifestation coach. You teach the science of manifestation. Where are you manifesting this?
Okay. This is the epitome of manifestation, but not in the way I think people believe in their minds. So I was not going around the world in my mind like, I'm seeking true love. I'm seeking true love. I want to meet my Prince Charming like today, So I wasn't walking around with saying my intentions every morning, making my mind movies. Like, I wasn't doing the things you'd think I would be doing. But I had a knowing. I just knew, I knew I was going to meet someone. I knew. It was like that full trust, that full knowing I was going to meet someone. And that's why I was being so like, okay, I need to enjoy single life because I just had a feeling it was going to end soon. So I'm like,
Mm.
in my conscious mind, which is only like 1% of our reality, in my conscious mind, I'm like, okay, enjoy single life, live it up, like do everything you want because like you're going to meet this guy soon. So in terms of manifestation, I was a vibrational match for meeting someone. I knew I was going to meet someone. So I met the necessary criteria, but I wasn't living my life looking for him. And I think that's actually why I was able to find him much faster than I think sometimes we do when we're like trying to force an outcome, when you're like trying to make something happen.
So I actually want to talk about this because I have a program called Inner Work Alchemy, and it's an inner work program. And it's an inner work program, and I say this only inside the program. I said this is an inner work program disguised as a manifestation program to get you anything that you desire. Because
Yes.
I think that the actual way that you manifest is by fixing your frequency so much that your life is a revolving door of like constant miracles and manifestations because you're just at that frequency versus like, I am just manifesting a free cup of coffee and I am just manifesting a boyfriend. Like, it's like a constant unfolding when your frequency is a match to all good things. What are
No,
your thoughts on
exactly.
that?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. That's why I'm like, instead of just telling you how I met him, I'm like, no, first you have to know how like Annapolis lined up, and then all these things on my street were lining up, and then of course the man also happened to live in that town 5 minutes away. It's like, of
Wow.
course it all aligned because I am a vibrational match for life working out. That's what I'm a
Mm.
vibrational match for, not forcing, yeah, like one specific thing at a time.
So, in our last episode, one of the things that you said was that you are not someone who innately trusts the universe. And I think that rock bottoms are one of the most, the word that it's like you're pregnant with God, almost like learning how to trust God. Does that make sense? I don't know. You're like
No, for
getting
sure.
birthed into trusting God because you have no fucking other choice. I'm curious now that time has passed and you're fully out of your divorce and you like see how life has worked out. How has your relationship with trusting the universe and trusting the unknown evolved? And what are your tips to help people? Because one of the biggest things that I hear in my audience is that like it's so hard to trust that it's all working out or trust God or trust the unknown, which is all
Yeah,
the
that's a
same
great
thing.
question. Yeah, spot on. No, for sure. And I totally love the way you said that. So I went through my divorce, and as I was processing my emotions, yeah, trust was a huge one for me. I'd been mistrusting like my whole life pretty much. I never trusted people. It was hard for me to trust in manifestation in general. Like doubt was always my thing to work through. And so, as I'm going through my divorce, which was a shock and a huge betrayal, how I felt at the time, like I was processing all of the emotions. And I thought to myself, as we were kind of unraveling, I thought to myself, like, how could I ever trust a guy, like anyone ever again? Like, because what? I meet someone and then what? Eventually we get married, but then even when we're married, I'm always going to be like, but are you going to divorce me? Like, that's how I viewed it at the time. Even if we've been married 20 years, like, okay, well, is today the day? You know what I mean? And I felt like I was just gonna have more mistrust. And one thing I could have done, and I don't think anyone would make me wrong for it, is build up my armor even stronger and be like, like I went through a lot, I don't want to go through it again, and like trust less and be more guarded. But instead, I did the opposite. And I feel like I shattered any walls I had up. And I was like, okay, if I'm just gonna get betrayed anyway, like I might as well trust along the way. I might as well feel better. I might as well just enjoy the journey. And I also, the science of manifestation really helped me gain that trust because you get what you're a vibrational match for all of the time. So if I was always my whole life putting out the vibration of mistrust from being a kid, from going through my spiritual journey in my marriage, if I'm always mistrusting on some level, I'm always going to get back the vibration of mistrust. If I'm doing everything with one foot in the door but one foot out because I'm scared, I'm always going to get those half, like wishy-washy results. I'm never
Mhm.
going to have that all in, like soul bursting love, whatever, if I'm always halfway in, like, but are you going to be trustworthy? Then that's the vibration I'm putting out. So that's what I get back. So I felt like,
Mm.
okay, I have no choice except to surrender deeper. And part of the reason I went like solo traveling through Asia was actually to build my own muscle of surrender. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah, like I hope I get opportunities that, and I'm like, but be kind to me. I mean, universe, like take this with a grain of salt. But I'm like, I want opportunities to trust deeper and be forced to surrender so I can open myself more than I ever have before.
I think that you have to be willing to put yourself in situations where you have to trust in order to learn how to trust. It's like you can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts about, oh, this is how I trust the universe. And Kelsey gave me this tip to how to trust the universe until you fucking put yourself in the situation where you have to trust. And hey, listen, I feel like God put me in my situation that I didn't really have to look for it, and you too. But like for someone who's like, yeah, I don't trust the universe, I think something like solo travel or, breaking up with a person who you know is not aligned with, or moving to a new city, or going to take that random job where you don't know what's going to happen is the way that you build it. So I love that you said that.
It's the only way. And like we think our mind, when you listen to your mind, it projects out all of these horrible scenarios, all of the worst case scenarios or all the reasons why it isn't going to work out. But it's only out of fear. Your ego only protects you, right? So like your mind's trying to protect you, but what you're going to receive is just more of the same that you've been getting and more of that same vibration of the life you're trying to escape from, essentially.
And when you're in a worry spiral, something that I always remind my clients is you can think about the situation until your face turns blue, thinking about we could write it down in an entire journal, all the ways that it could play out. The universe is so fucking creative. The universe is infinite that it will actually play out not any of those ways that you wrote down, but another way, just
Yeah.
to prove to you that that it is the infinite intelligence that's running this entire thing.
No, literally. Okay, wait. When I moved to Annapolis, okay, so I kept saying like, oh, when I moved to Annapolis, I love my street. Okay, so I moved onto this street. It has like cute coffee shops, cute lunch spots, and there's this one like clothing store. And there's two clothing stores actually. So I was shopping with my mom. We go in the first clothing store, and that one's a little more high end. And there were these ladies in the store who just like walked in and they were just like, I want a dress for dinner tonight. And the salesperson would give them a few and they would just buy one on the spot. And I'm like, oh, I've never shopped like that at a store like this. Like, and I said to my mom as we were leaving, I'm like, I aspire to be like those women. Like, I want to start shopping like that and just being like, I want this and buying everything I want. Like, I don't buy clothes that much. So I'm like, oh, like next time I buy clothes, I'm gonna do it this way. And so we go into the other clothing store, and this was like it was like a designer like consignment shop. So they have nice things but not as expensive. But anyways, my mom finds a shirt and she's driving me a little crazy because she's like, it's a $16 shirt, okay? And she's like, should I buy it? Does it match my outfits? I already have one kind of similar. Will I ever wear this? Blah, blah, all this justification to buy it. And I'm like, oh my God, just buy it if you want it, or don't if you don't. Like, I don't know,
Like it's $60.
Yes, exactly. And so then we're walking through the store and I see this pair, and I don't do this with clothes. Like, I'm not really a clothes shopper. I see this pair of boots. They're like fuzzy and tall and not my normal style, but I see them and I'm like, oh my God, I love these. I need them. And I looked at the price tag and I was like, oh no, like, and I started doing in my mind exactly what my mom just did, exactly what I said I don't want to be. I'm like, who am I to wear these? Oh my God, like they don't match my outfits, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, Kelsey, stop it. Like, you just said out loud who you want to be as a buyer. And, I teach my clients all day, like, action is the language of the universe. You have to feel desire. When you feel that desire, you have to take action on it immediately. So by me justifying it in my mind and doing the thing I was literally just mad at my mom for doing, I'm like, okay, shut up, just buy the boots. And so I'm like, okay, I have to just buy the boots. So I go to buy the boots, and the woman at the counter is bringing me up. She's like talking and she's like, oh yeah, like these are nice. And then she was talking about her store and she's like, you don't want a job here, do you? Like, I need someone to work part-time. And I'm like, oh my God, I literally just moved to Annapolis. I didn't know anyone. And I was like, in my mind, like, how do I meet people? And I like to get paid for doing things. So I'm like, how do I get paid to meet people? And I'm like, I don't know. And then here's this lady saying, do you want a part-time job? And she's like, it's only 4 hours a week though. And I'm like, no, that is ideal. Like, I don't have time for a full-on job. I just wanted a little like reason to get paid to meet people. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is perfect. And I ended up working there for like a few hours a week for weeks. I 10x'd however much I spent on the boots. Like, so I made more money.
Damn.
I met tons of people. It was this cute little shop. Like, it was like the most perfect aligned thing that, yeah, like I could not have made that happen myself.
Yeah, you can't plan things like that. Like that's why not trusting the unknown and trying to control is number one, the easiest way to get bored of your life, to completely dissolve any magic that's going to happen. And honestly, like be low key miserable, because if you knew every single thing that was going to happen in your life and how it was going to happen and how you were going to meet them, you would be bored. You
Yeah.
would. And I have a really crazy theory. It's not that crazy in my brain that when you're depressed, it's just because your soul is like bored of like something. And it's so stagnant that it like manifests as depression. And I feel like that's what happens when you're just like never willing to like go out into new territory and like do new things and trust the unknown, and you're in places that are unaligned for you. So that just reminded me that like you have to just do things that are kind of just, I always like to do things that are random like that fall into my lap because I'm like, I feel like this is from
Mhm.
God.
Always. Like it literally is. It's always an opportunity, when you feel those sparks of desire and you feel like, oh my God, like I should do this, you should. And you don't have to, but if you keep saying to yourself, I want to get to that next level, like I want to be a person who, lives bigger than I can ever dream of, well, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Well, I
And if
think
it was
most of the
comfort zone,
time,
you would have done it.
yeah, like I think most of the time it's your trauma that's telling you like you can't or you shouldn't or like that's not your style or who are you to do it, right? And it's like if we actually just gut feeling follow what makes that lights us up, we would actually always be fulfilled and we would always be have new opportunities and we would always be in an expansive state. And honestly, like 2 years ago after my breakup, that's kind of how I started living my life, is like any hell yes got experience. I was like, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Peru, let's go. Okay, this. Okay, yes, go. Joe Dispenza, let's go. And what it did was just it kept on expanding me in ways that I never even knew I could be expanded. And I'm like, all of a sudden, I have this crazy life that I could have never even fucking dreamed of before everything happened. Like
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
secret.
Wait, I did the same. I started saying yes to pretty much everything. That excited me. Not literally everything, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I started just being open to the universe. Like, whatever you give me, I'm open to. And
Mm-hmm.
now, yes, everything like lined up better than I could have ever controlled through my own mind.
I'm going to make a quick assumption about you if you listen to Alignment Academy, the podcast, that ever since you were little, you just had this deep feeling that you were meant for big things in this world. You weren't here to be ordinary, but you were here to be a mover and a shaker. Hi, I'm Kristen, and same. Except for years, I was self sabotaging because even though I felt in my soul that I was here to do extremely big things, I could not stop procrastinating, self sabotaging, feeling massive amounts of imposter syndrome, and don't forget getting triggered as fuck every single day of my life. And honestly, I didn't know what to do. And then I found inner work. I found energy healing. I found all of the modalities that I still use today. The spiritual tools that I use feel like I found a hack to this universe. Like, the rules don't apply to me because I know how to shift my vibration. I know how to reprogram my subconscious mind. I know how to give myself any beliefs that I want to believe about the world, like money comes easy to me and the rules don't apply to me and I don't need a real job. These are all just beliefs that I believe about myself. If you're similar to me, you know you have a big mission, but you know it's also time to get out of your own way and heal your blocks for good so you can actually just take action on your mission. This is why I created Alignment Academy, the membership. Inside this membership, you are going to get everything from live coaching sessions with me monthly, all of my best-selling heart work meditations and hypnosises. You're going to get all of my energy healing activations to do energy work on yourself anytime you want. Not to mention, as soon as you enroll, you get a library of 9 past masterclasses and 8 on-demand meditations. But the very best part is the people in the community. This is some of the most heart-centered, amazing humans I've ever come in contact with. Honestly, people have made friends in this group. They've met up in person in this group. It's the place to be. This is seriously the only space on the internet that weaves quantum manifestation, inner work, and business to help you quantum leap in your soul's growth and your business growth. If you're serious about healing, getting out of your own way, and taking massive action this year, then join with the link below. See you inside. So I want to switch gears real quick because one of the things that's like so prevalent in all your videos, and Kelsey teaches very science-based manifestation. Like none of it's pseudoscience, none of it's woo-woo, none of it's say do things that are not scientifically backed. Like you are a science-backed girly. And one of the things that you really just like drive home in every single one of your videos is that you are going to get what you are a vibrational match to. Like point blank, it's like almost I the way that I explain it in inner work alchemy is like a barcode. It's like it's not any emotional charge around it. It's like the universe scans your barcode and you're either gonna get the bananas or you're not because you're a vibrational match to it or you're not. And so I want to know, how do we become, let's like give some examples of maybe the biggest things that people want in life. So money or love. Those are the two biggest things that people usually want. Success and joy too, but mostly it's money and love from my own coaching business. How do we become a vibrational match to it? Like I love that, but somebody's like, "Okay, yeah, Kelsey, but fucking how?"
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the question. Exactly. How do I become a vibrational match? And the universe, like you nailed it. Like the universe is so literal. You get exactly what you are a match for. The biggest way to know if you're a vibrational match, let me start that way, is gnosis. Is the feeling of knowing in your body that the
Gnosis.
thing,
I've never heard of
yes.
that.
Yeah, gnosis, like the feeling of knowing, and you're
Mm.
positive it's gonna happen, like 100% chance it's gonna happen. So when you feel that knowing, then it has to happen because you're a vibrational match for it. And the way I kind of describe it is like, okay, today's Thursday for us, when the day we're recording, tomorrow's Friday. We know that it just is, right? It's Friday. Like it's neutral, it's literal, it just is Friday. You may have emotions on top of that. You may feel excited it's Friday. You may be dreading it. I don't know. There can be emotions on it, but there's an underlying sureness that it's coming. Does that
Mm.
feeling like make sense?
Yeah, it's like this non-emotional, I don't really care how long it is until it's Friday. It's just Friday tomorrow. I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're not sitting here, like, is it gonna come? Is it gonna come? You might be, I can't wait for it to come. You might be, I'm dreading it to come. Like you might have feelings and that's fine. Like I get asked all the time, like, oh, I had a negative thought. Is that gonna push back my manifestation? And it's like, no, you're a human. You're allowed to have emotions. It's okay to experience life and expect certain things to come and have a thought of doubt. Oh my God, what if it doesn't come? But when you have that underlying knowing, it has to. It can't not arrive. Like that's how you know for a fact you're a vibrational match.
Mm. So how do we get to the point where we have that clear knowing? Like if someone's like, "Okay, Kelsey, I really want to. I've said my fucking affirmations in the mirror like a parrot. Like what
Yeah.
how do I get there?"
How do I get there? For sure. This is the work I do with my clients, right? Actually, this is the primary work I do, making people a vibrational match for the thing they want. So there is an element of it depends on where you're at right now. But the thing that matters the most is okay, if I wanted to know for a fact something's true, how do you develop a belief in anything? Like you, for me, one of the key things that I teach my clients is understanding like how the universe works, like the quantum physics of it, but also your neuroscience and your biology. And we know, like, to keep it simple, we collapse our entire reality. We create our entire reality. So for me, when I understand on a very like manifestation to me is collapsing the entire quantum state into the physical reality we see. So you are exposed to infinite possibilities and you get the one. And if you know you're in charge of that, for me, that adds knowing that, oh, anything I desire, I get to have. So I don't have to wonder, like, what random thing is the universe going to give me? What's around the corner? This is out of my control. Like, it's in my control. When I trust the universe and I set my intentions and then I just let the universe work its magic on the how, I know for a fact it has to collapse in my favor. It can't not. And then I also know that using our own minds, our stories create our reality. So the next step is like, okay, so if my first story was I'm not 100% the creator of this world we live in, I would
Mm.
work on fixing that story. You are 100% the creator, 100%. You can create anything you desire. Once you know that, I work with my clients on like, okay, so what stories as you're living your life, you have that foundational belief. Now you're living your life. What stories keep coming up? What smaller stories are coming up? Like, oh, I have to trade a lot of time for money. Okay, is that ultimately true? And if it's not ultimately true, is there a better belief that you can choose instead? And constantly, at first, working your conscious mind to rewrite your story every time you catch yourself thinking or feeling, oh, okay, I need more money. Like, oh, but I don't have time. Stop. Good thing money isn't related to time. Who, like, it just doesn't matter. And
Mm-hmm.
then looking for proof of ways of reinforcing the stories you want to believe. So, are there people out there not working very hard who have lots of money? Yes. In fact, when I think of the hardest workers, they are not the people with the most money. And when I think of very, very rich people, I always think of them partying or something, like doing other stuff besides working. So then it cannot be true that hard work is tied to more money. That just can't be true. So then I get to keep breaking that belief and keep reinforcing it for me, and then choosing new stories that do serve me and rewiring my own subconscious. So then suddenly that is a core fundamental belief, and that takes over the other beliefs that I used to have.
Yeah, and I think a belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over and over again until it is embedded in your brain, right? And so I think that what we actually do is very similar. I do it within the frame of inner child work because that's where a lot of our beliefs form, and you do probably do it with other tools and practices. But yeah, it's like it really just is shaping your brain to be the like I talk a lot about this being a simulation. I think that we're all just a simulation and we're like a machine. And when you learn how to hack your brain and you learn how to hack your beliefs, you can literally decide what reality you want to live. And that's like actually what I did at first when I was trying to quit my corporate job and trying to make money online. I like literally would go in and I would change my belief from money is hard to make to like I make money in my sleep. And I woke up last night and I made money while I was sleeping, you know? Like now it's just part of my reality, part of my simulation game, and anyone can make that part of their game. I also had the belief like, oh, I have to have a corporate job to be successful. And then every single night I was going to reprogram my unconscious mind that the only way I would be successful was to actually follow my soul's purpose, right? That's not the only rule that you could give yourself, but that's the rule that I wanted to follow. And so I think that once you understand that the rules and beliefs that you live by are going to be constantly giving you the feedback loop of what you're going to see in your reality, then it does make you the creator versus feeling like a victim to the beliefs that you were just given in childhood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that. You create it. And like also, sometimes people ask me after talking about this, like, okay, so then did I cause this bad thing to happen? Or, even as you're working on your beliefs, or, why is your life not so perfect? Then why'd you get a divorce? You know what I mean? Like, if you're so good at creating all these happy things, why are you going through stuff? And it's like, well, we're here to evolve. If life is a simulation, I agree with that. It's like a video game. Like you are a vibrational match, so to speak, for a certain level, and you can have and do anything in a video game. When you're playing the video game, like The Sims, let's say, you can do anything you want. But, in other video games with like levels where you're trying to beat a monster or something, you're available to everything on that level. And
Mm-hmm.
your ultimate goal is to, one, level up, and two, enjoy playing the game. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
only two reasons why you're doing it. So, yeah, quote unquote, bad stuff happens to us because we're leveling up. It's not bad, that's just your perception of it. And like when I went through my divorce, yeah, it was difficult, it was challenging. I processed a lot of emotions, but ultimately, it shattered my world open to infinitely more possibilities, to a life greater than I could ever imagine. And it was part of that level. And I'm so thankful I went through something like that. It felt challenging at the time, but every challenge is an opportunity. And we're here in this experience to face challenges and real freedom, real like mastering manifestation in the universe is when you can enjoy the challenges that come up and see the opportunity in them.
Yeah, and there's no building without the ultimate destruction, right? So like things are going to have to fall off. You're going to have to go through hard things. Like that's just a part of life. And I'm curious, what are your thoughts on like I think I saw you make a video about this about and I actually really I've actually gotten this information as well, but I know think I don't know. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. That we do have certain like soul points that are kind of predetermined in our life and like these things are going to happen because that's how we're going to grow regardless of like if we're a creator or not. Like they're just going to happen. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw this in a near death experience like video I was listening to, but
Mhm.
I totally agree. Like this resonated and this matches a lot of the stuff that I believed for different reasons. But yeah, we have like a few moments in our life that have to happen. Like they're going to happen no matter what. Our
Predestined.
soul, yeah, predestined before we started playing the game, we knew they were going to happen. Like in a literal video game, you know you're going to meet the monster at some point, right? Like the guy you're trying to defeat. Like there's certain things you know you're going to go through. And the difference is how you, one, prepare for the event, and then two, view the event while it's happening, and three, what do you do after the event? And
Mm.
depending on your choices along the way, I think one example I used in the video that you're referencing, I don't know if I said it in that video, but one example I've used is like, okay, I don't think this is the type of thing that is necessarily one of those core moments, but let's say on your life path, your soul decided, when I'm 70, I'm going to run a marathon. At 70, I have to run a marathon. Okay, if you followed your soul's purpose and you felt your desire and took action on it, you would probably be a runner. You know what I mean? You might be running marathons your whole adult life. You'd probably feel a desire to like and a passion for running, and you'd go out and run, and you love marathons and you love racing and you met a whole community and you're in really great shape. So by the time you're 70 and you run that marathon, it just feels like part of your everyday life. It doesn't feel like a movie moment to you. And then you run more marathons after, you prepared for it, you enjoyed it while it happened, and then afterwards you reap the benefits. Okay? Let's say you do not follow your soul's calling. You still have to run that marathon at 70. So, let's say your whole life instead, you say, oh, I have a passion. I feel like running, but my boss needs me to stay late again. And so you stay at your corporate job and work extra hours. And then you do this for years and years and years. And, oh, like, I really wish I should join that run club. That looks really fun, but oh, I'm going to sleep in instead. Like, and you keep making different choices. Your heart says one thing, but your head makes a different choice. By the time you're 70, maybe you're in bad physical shape. Maybe you've never, there's all these reasons why running a marathon would feel very hard at that point, but you have to. Like, it's your soul's path and you have to. And maybe, who knows how you get in that situation. Maybe your son gets sick and they're having a marathon in his honor, and he overcame some disease and he wants you to run it so bad for him, so you do, but oh my god, it is so painful. You are not prepared for this moment. It's so bad, and maybe you have to get rushed to the hospital because you can't make it 26 miles. So that moment felt very hard because the whole time leading up to that path, you weren't following your soul's purpose, and that felt like a hard moment. And then you're in the hospital, and then I don't know, something happens, and then afterwards you're sick, and then now you go in a mental spiral about how you're getting older and you face mortality. And then so that became a defining event for that you perceive as very difficult. Where in the first version, if you follow your soul's path and then you face the moment and it's happy and joyful. And I think there's moments we have to face, but depending on who we are becoming along the way and how our mind works at the moment and who we choose to be in the energy after, I think make all the difference.
I am so obsessed with this because I think that that's actually what quote unquote the highest timeline is. It's harder in the moment, it's easier in the long run when you're looking at it from the soul level. This is so crazy that we're talking about this because I take silent walks 2 times a day where I just get to like filter through my thoughts and get downloads and whatever. And it's so weird that this happened yesterday because I was having this thought about my life path yesterday. I'm a Virgo moon in the like eighth house. So like when I'm alone, my thoughts are like so analytical and dark, and I'm looking through all the timelines and like it's crazy. And I haven't really thought about the timeline of my breakup in a while. I was thinking about like my breakup, and not in a painful way. I was just observing it from a very like neutral standpoint. I was remembering that 1.5 years before the extremely painful, gut wrenching breakup, there was an opportunity for us to break up before that. And it was the same situation. He wanted to live in LA, I wanted to live in San Diego. But ultimately, I decided to go against myself and go up to LA. And then the final breakup was a year and a half later when we both moved down to San Diego and he wasn't happy. And then we finally had the breakup in a very painful, very like whatever way. And I was like looking at that point and I'm like, oh my God, like I could have actually chosen the easier breakup. but I didn't. I went against myself. And so I had the more painful thing. And so, like, that's the sole point. Like, you were always going to break up with this person. You guys were never going to stay together. How it was going to happen was up to you, but you chose the harder path. And so now it's in this, like, it's in the harder way versus the easier way.
Exactly. We always, that's how I felt too. When I was thinking about my husband, like, yeah, we got divorced, but before we got married, I remember this felt normal at the time, but in hindsight, it's like, girl, your
Yeah.
intuition is like so
Yeah.
loud. I kept asking all my friends and like going back and forth, and I would even ask him, like, how do I know this is right? How do you know if you're marrying the right person? Like, how do you know? Like, and I didn't know why I felt so nervous, It's not like he did anything so wrong. And I would think to myself, like, what would he have to do or what would we have to go through for me to like call off this engagement? Like I'm like, how do I know? So in hindsight, at the time, I'm like, everyone gets cold feet before they get married. It's a thing. And in hindsight, I'm like, your intuition was saying, like, this is not the right person. And so, yeah, I totally agree.
That's so
If you're
funny.
enjoying this episode, then I have a quick offer for you. I would love to gift you my free meditation, Release Anxiety and Trust the Universe. And this meditation has been so pivotal for me when I was going through my rock bottom or when I'm going through a moment of uncertainty in my life. And I would love for you to try this meditation out absolutely free. All you have to do is rate the podcast 5 stars, go follow my podcast Instagram page at Alignment Academy Pod on Instagram, and then send me a screenshot of your 5-star rating or review, and I will send you the meditation, no strings attached. I can't wait for you to try it out. And now back to the episode.
So I know you're very science backed, and we'd kind of talked about like rewriting your beliefs. I love that you're science backed because you're not like going to just give us flu, little fluffy things that you can do. Like, I don't know, the craziest things, people do for manifestation these days. What are your favorite like science backed practices to like rewire your mind or shift your beliefs? Or like, what are the things that you kind of lean on for yourself? Like, I love hypnosis, but like, what do you love?
Totally. No, hypnosis is great. I think learning the science in general is the biggest thing that shifted my mindset because back to trust again, my whole thing was like, I don't trust manifestation. What do you mean you can create your reality? What do you
Mhm.
mean why doesn't everyone do it then? I'm always, yeah, like super analytical, super looking at the data. Like, how can this doesn't make sense because why this, why that, why that? So my mind was always questioning. And so, literally understanding like the nature of reality, I changed the game for me because then it helped me understand that I am the full 100% creator. And then I didn't have to spend so long tricking my brain into new beliefs. Does that make sense? Like once
Mm.
I knew how the universe worked, I'm like, oh yeah, of course I create it. And then I didn't need to keep reprogramming new things in that
So
sense.
you actually work with like foundational beliefs because then
Yeah,
it
about
like,
the nature of reality. Yeah.
wow. Okay. So that's just to give you guys like a little bit of a visual. What she's actually doing is she's, instead of like working with like little beliefs, like, oh, I'm worthy of love and this and that, it's like you actually just go to the very bottom where all your beliefs are created of like, I'm the creator of my reality. And you reprogram those, which then therefore ripple out into all the areas of love, money, success, joy, all those things.
Yeah, exactly. For me, if I didn't have the fundamental belief and understanding of how and why I can actually move the simulation in my favor, if I didn't understand how matter is literally created and it's all like literally our entire reality is like, it's just not real. Like it's real and it feels real, but it's like if you have a ball of clay and then you make a little giraffe and you're like, this is a giraffe. Yeah, it's a giraffe, but then you can just mush up the clay and make something else. Or you can make
Mhm.
2 giraffes. Now you're like, I have 2 objects. And it's like, yeah, they're separate objects, but they're also kind of not. That's how our reality really is. And you are in charge of the clay. You can make anything. Everything in our whole reality is made out of the same material. So from knowing that, it's like, why did I believe money was hard again? Like, of course I can have money. I mean, I don't know. I'll just make the money. Like, it's so easy. And so once I fully understood how matter was made and I am the creator, a lot of the other beliefs, when I recognize them, when I notice limiting beliefs, when I notice stories in my mind that I don't want to believe, it's much easier for me now than it used to be to shift out, because I'm like, oh, that's a weird thing in my subconscious. Like that's definitely not true. And it only takes a little bit of work to shift it versus trying to force a new outcome for me without the foundational understanding of like how easy it is to manipulate reality.
For sure. So do you do like what if your clients are really stuck in that victim mindset and like they can't get them? Do you use any tools or like science-backed things to help them shift out of that?
Yeah, I make them go through my course. I'm just like, you need to watch every single video in here and work through it, because when
Yeah, because knowledge can shift beliefs too. When you understand how something works, then you have a different out view of it.
yeah, and when you see, I think the power of being in a group is also really helpful, because you can see other people's limits or problems much faster than you can see your own, because you're the person with all the thoughts. So
Hmm.
when I ran my program Unlock the Universe most recently, it was a theme of the group of everyone was an overthinker and everyone was like a type A controller. That was like the theme of everyone who started. And we start going through the modules, and the first, 2 days, everyone's asking a million questions like, okay, so which am I supposed to watch the videos in this order? Like, what do I do that blah blah blah, like all these questions. And I'm like, guys, it's all gonna happen in divine timing. You're all gonna unlock the universe. It's all gonna work out. Like, just you don't have to overthink it. Just follow this pathway and it'll be fine. And I think it really helped the group too, when we have live calls. And so on the first call, when they can see like, oh, we're all similar, you know what I mean? When they're all asking the same questions and going through the same problems and everyone's like typing in the chat, like I totally relate. And then fast forward to call 5. This is a 6-week program, and call 5, everyone hopped on the call. Literally every single person, they're like, I don't really have questions. Has been going well. Like the same things are actually still happening right now, but like I feel calm. I feel
Hmm.
like I can trust. Like I feel good about it. And then like someone else be like, "Oh my God, me too." And I think going through that group aspect of like constantly seeing other people transforming in front of you puts you in the, like energetic field of raising your vibration automatically. Because I think a huge thing for me, to answer your question too, is not do so much conscious work of not creating so many actions for yourself. I have to say these affirmations. I have to, whatever people do, I have to do this meditation. I like those things and I do them, but they're more of a supplement to the foundational, like, am I putting myself in the right energetic environment? Like, am I
Hmm.
setting the right, am I around people who believe the same things as I do? How am I making this life as easy for myself as possible? And I feel like it's those more subtle strategies that I find work like really, really well, and they feel better as you're doing them.
I love that. I love that. So like you like to just do things that are, yeah, like just more subtle.
Yeah, like in my group program, okay, we have a certain amount of videos per week. We have a group call, we have a group chat, and I'm like, trust the process, guys. It'll be fine. And I'm answering their questions, like working through it. And what do you know? Suddenly by group 5, everyone's chill. All these type A controllers are like, yeah, like it's all working out. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I told you, you just had to trust the process. And like, because the videos are all science based, right? So they all teach the foundation of the universe. They can all see each other going through, but I don't give them a million homeworks. I'm not like, oh, you have to use this type of meditation, and then you have to do this every day, and then you have to do this every day, and then you have to do, and change all these things about you. It's actually the opposite. It's like, what I teach a lot is like, just accept what's going on.
Mm.
Acceptance is unconditional love, and unconditional love is like the highest vibration. So just by accepting what is, you're
Wow.
automatically raising your vibration. And isn't that the thing you were trying to do in the first place? Like,
Ooh, I love that.
yeah,
That's such a hack too, because I think that sometimes too, like when we don't trust, we over control, which puts us in like a lower frequency. And there is like I think that's the part of manifestation and even being a creator that we don't speak to or talk about is like at the end of the day, the hardest part is the surrender part. When we've done the work, when we've done, said what we wanted, when we set the intentions, okay, like that's still why it's called the great mystery. That's why source is source, because you can't see all the timelines and you don't get to know. So, how do like what would you say to somebody who is like, but I can't surrender after, like, how do I know it's coming?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I was talking about my group, Unlock the Universe, which is like my main signature program, like highest level, but my membership is called The Experiment. And so my answer would be, treat it like a giant experiment. The energy of this has to work and I need this money feels so different than, let me just see if, doing this meditation is going to make me feel better. Instead of it has to work, it's like, let me just try it. Other people says it works for them. Like, let me do one tonight. Oh, let me do one tomorrow night. And it's this energy of experimenting and like, I don't know what's going to happen. And that energy of not placing need on the outcome and just sort of having fun with the process and then seeing what comes up. What do you know? The outcome almost comes out better than you could ever imagine every single time.
I love that. I love that. What are your thoughts on the invisible string theory?
Invisible string theory. Ooh, interesting. I feel like, okay, what's coming up for me now is a whole like can of worms that maybe we'll have to talk about a different time. Like fate versus free will. You know what I mean? Like, how much is fate? How much is free will? I don't know.
That's still why it's called the great mystery. We don't get to know everything. We still don't get to know everything. That's honestly what I've been struggling with, not struggling with, but like really chewing on the last year is like, yeah, even if we can like learn all this knowledge, like we still don't get to know everything.
Yeah, we can't. Like when I did ayahuasca, they showed me everything in the whole universe. I said, "Show me it all" when I took the medicine, and they showed me it all. And it was crazy and it was complicated and my brain couldn't handle it. And then at the end, they were like, "See, that was crazy and complicated. Your brain can't handle it. I'm gonna delete this from your memory because it would like break your body if you kept it. But if you
Mm,
ever need one piece of information, it's in your DNA. You can receive any information you
I
want
have
at any
chills.
time. Yeah, but you can't
Wow.
like understand the workings of all of it or everything that's going to happen.
It would just be too much.
Yeah. Wait, what do you think about the invisible string theory?
I think it's kind of related to the soul points. I haven't actually thought about it really deeply, but I think it's probably related to the soul points. Whereas, like, based on both people's timelines that they're choosing, there's a lot of choice points that they could probably meet, or there's like places where they can come together. But whether based on like, let's say both, like, wait, let's just use a relationship as an example. Let's say both of them are getting out of a relationship and then they have to do healing work in order for them to meet. It actually depends on like the speed at which like they decide to break it off. Like, do you just wait for years or do you not? And then like it's also like, okay, well, now you have to go on your healing journey. And are you going to sign up for therapy or are you going to make it go really bad before you sign up? And I think that based on all the dynamics of both people that need to be a vibrational match to each other, the universe probably has embedded in these moments where they could connect if they're a vibrational match that are like they're connecting them like, oh, this person's related to them and this person and that person, but ultimately like it kind of is like both parties have to choose it in a
Yeah.
sense. I've
Yeah.
literally haven't listened to one of your videos on it and I actually have never thought about this, so that's literally just what came to my mind.
No, I love it. No, exactly. I think that's where like I was going. Like I think the universe is just so massively complex. Like I think it's too limiting to say these things had to all happen. All these things had to happen for this moment. But because I also think we live in like a multiverse and there's like a lot of parallel universes and there's a lot maybe where you meet and a lot maybe where you don't to make
Yeah,
things
and
crazy.
also like that's where also some people are like, "Do you believe in soulmates?" And I'm like, Not really," because like let's say that you did have a soulmate you were supposed to meet, but then like one of you didn't do your healing work, then you're not really going to be a vibrational match to that person. Because I know personally, like I'm a very different person than if I had gotten on the healing journey than if I haven't, right? Like literally, I can barely even relate to people that I was talking to before I was on my healing journey and like on a spiritual journey. So like those two, let's say like husbands of mine, are going to be two totally different people. And
For sure.
so like that's why I'm like this is just so complicated. We can't know.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I said to like the guy I'm like dating now. I'm always like, "Oh, thank God we didn't meet until now." Because after he's gone through a lot and he's done his own work and like I've done my own work and I'm like, "Oh yeah, if we had met at like 20, like we did not like stand a chance." So it's not
Yeah.
yeah, it is a lot of who are you in this exact moment and who are you a vibrational match for versus there's one soul, floating out there, no matter what, against all other circumstances that you have to somehow find.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like our soul gets to choose what adventure it has. So like even if that's the soul plan, I think that the higher selves are always up there, like revising the plan based on the decisions you're making. Cause like you are in a video game and it's like, okay, well, based on that decision, you didn't really pass that lesson how you wanted to. So we need to revise some people that you're going to meet. And, let's say that my soul's been calling me to California, but I chose Austin. So now all the people that I was supposed to meet in California need to be revised to like vibrational matches that are similar, but in Austin, right? Like it
Yeah.
gets complicated.
But like you create the simulation. So like you may slow down your own progress, but it's your simulation. Like it's always going to be conspiring for
For
you. Like
you.
there's always going to be the people, the opportunities, the lessons available for you that you need
Exactly.
no matter what choice you make. There might have been a faster pathway,
Hmm.
but it's all okay. Like it's okay.
And when you kind of go up the octave of source consciousness, well, source is everywhere, like it has unlimited time, unlimited resources, unlimited, possibilities. So it's not really in a rush. So that's a human construct of like slowing down time and faster, slower. It's like the universe is not in a rush. And that's what I always remind my clients is like, there's only unconditional love, whichever path you choose. The universe doesn't care if it takes you 10 lives to learn this lesson or one life, because to source consciousness, it has all the time in the fucking world. So it's like, I don't really care how long you take, you'll get where you're going no matter what.
Yeah, I feel like it's like I use this example sometimes when I see my clients getting like too hard on themselves. Think of a baby or like a 1-year-old or however old babies do this when they learn to walk. Like they're not obsessed with the outcome of walking, even though they're on the process of learning how to walk. But it doesn't matter how many times they fall down. They can fall
Hmm.
down a few times, they can fall down 100 times, they can walk at 6 months, they can walk at 2 years. Who cares? Because eventually, as long as they keep getting up and trying again, they have to learn to walk. Like everyone does it, like they're gonna
Hmm.
learn to walk. So it doesn't matter the stuff along the way. And babies don't hold that self-consciousness. They're not thinking, oh my God, those other babies are so much faster than me. Oh my God, why are mom and dad so good at walking, but I suck? Oh my God, I've fallen so many times today. I should just give up. They don't have those self-conscious thoughts. They only have pure love. So they just keep getting up and trying again. They don't care about the timeline. They don't care about the
Hmm.
failures. They only are focused on walk, and then they do.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, Kelsey, this was such a packed episode. Thank you so much for just diving into all of the things for me. What's one thing that you do when you feel out of alignment to get yourself back in alignment and kind of like start creating your reality in your preferred way? Because we're always creating our reality, but what's one thing that you do to just get back on track?
I will always surround myself with some super inspiring story. I mean, I have my specific little things that I like, but like I really like near-death experience stories. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
really out of a funk, I'll always listen. They always bring you back to the
Yep.
unconditional love of source. They're always like really great stories. Doesn't matter which one you listen to, they're all so powerful and I'll like rejuvenate inspiration for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really like to listen to just kind of like podcasts or books or whatever of people who did the thing. Like I love hearing a story of a person who made it, whatever that means for them. Like the human story of like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like if that person can do it, I can do it. And I
Mm.
love re-inspiring myself through media. We have so much media we're consuming all of the time and it's so easy to get distracted in the scrolling spirals and it's the stop, put the social media down, or find your favorite creator and listen to like their inspiring things that are gonna raise you up.
Yeah, totally. And I think that what I've noticed is that what you're filling with your brain with has so much outcome on your beliefs. Like, I'm not kidding. My best friend, she's like a triathlon. So, like, all of a sudden, because I was liking all her content, I got served all this running content. And then I started running a lot because, like, I was just consuming that content. And I was like, this is so interesting how much what you're consuming can really impact like what you do in your life. And so I think that that's such a good reminder for everyone to take it seriously what you're consuming. Like if you want to have an expansive, big connected to source life, then like make sure that's what you're consuming, whether you're in a funk or not.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like be really intentional. And that's why I feel like online communities, like you have groups, like I have groups, like finding spaces like that you feel really inspired in, not only can you Like you are literally raising your energy by being in a even online community because you are putting yourself in that space of other people who are doing the thing. And
Mm-hmm.
like you can always, at any moment tap into a space like that and like look at old trainings, talk to people in the group, whatever, and be like, okay, yeah, like here's other people. I'm not crazy. I'm not trying to force an outcome that's not possible. Here's other people doing the same thing as me with the same mindset as me. And having those conversations and being in those environments I think are really powerful too. So like you always have that group of people that you're not alone.
So good. So good. Well, thank you so much, Kelsey, for coming on the second time. I'm so happy we were both able to connect in a new period, in a new exciting time of our life. Guys, if you haven't listened to the first episode, I seriously listened to it before this and I was like, this is a good fucking episode. It was actually one of my best performing episodes on season one. So I'll link it below for you guys to listen. But thank you so much for coming on. How does everyone find you? How does everyone join the experiment and all of your things? Like, give us the rundown before we let you go.
Check me out on at the manifesting scientist. I'm mostly active on Instagram and TikTok at the moment, but I have YouTube as well. And you can go to my link in bio on any of those channels and see my membership, all of the things going on.
Cool. Amazing. And we'll link her down below so you guys can have easy access to her. Thank you, Kelsey. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.